Hey man, I'm so happy to be back. Last night I was kind of flabbergasted, and so I just decided to go live and just talk about what I see as a problem and what I think is going to affect Black folks on LinkedIn specifically, but anybody of any um, aligned group, whether you're LGBTQ or whether you're Hispanic or a woman, any group that people don't like or target. I feel like this new feature on LinkedIn is going to really negatively affect your reach. And Brother Rob was nice enough to remind me and to bring out to the point that even though this new feature is targeting content, you actually can also turn off ads. So I want to let me see if I can get the right version of the right screen. I guess this one is cool. So I want to show and Brother Rob, I'm sorry. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are. And
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, appreciate you, brother, for the opportunity to be on your platform on it. I mean, we've been rocking for several years now, and the work you're doing on LinkedIn and many other channels to help promote our people has been tremendous. And so, for those who don't know me, I'm Rob YB Youngblood. In many circles, I'm known as the LinkedIn locksmith because of the ability that I have to unlock the power of LinkedIn for my clients. Started out working with job seekers and began to build with revenue generators. And shout out to my guy David Shands for the name LinkedIn Locksmith. That wasn't a name that I gave myself, but I was very consistent on the platform. Native of the Bronx, New York, currently live in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm the Chief Connecting Officer of YB Connects. Good to be here today.
that's what's up. That's what's up. I like what you say. Collaboration. What is it?
Collaboration creates currency.
Right, that CCC.
Yes, yeah, the triple C.
That's
That's
what's up.
right.
That's what's up.
That's
That's
right.
right. Triple C. Triple C. I love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah.
So what I was showing last night, and if you go to my feature, if anybody's watching and goes to the feature section of my profile, you'll see the video from last night. Is this X? This X right here. We have Carletta, Sister Hurt. She's down there with you. She's in DC. She's actually a really good sister. Y'all should connect. She's a director of a bunch of different movies. She has a lot of her content is on all black the app, the streaming app that Robert Johnson from the
Mhm.
former founder of BET has. She has
Right.
some of her movies on that, and she has, I think, has movies on a different platform also. But and also she's a teacher who helps and a guidance counselor for at-risk youth in DC. So
Mhm.
she's a really good sister to know. So if I was to click on this X, what would happen is you get this message that says, "I'm not interested in Carletta's topic." And because I didn't even see this before. So I guess what happened was Carletta reshared Sister Rosa's content.
Right.
And so when I click on the X, it doesn't just ding Carletta. It dings Sister Rosa.
Yeah.
This is wrong. LinkedIn, come on, y'all. This does not. So for those of you, just tuning in, we're talking about really the throttling of content on this platform. And it's gonna, to me, negatively, or as we not like to say, but this is something that we're used to hearing, disproportionately affect Black people. Like, because we've been able to really thrive on LinkedIn, I would say, in the last 2 to 3 years, and now we have our detractors on this platform. I deal with them every day on somebody's behalf, and so a lot of Black people, but especially Black women, get reported on LinkedIn for voicing their opinion on their page. They're not putting it someplace else. So now with this X, you can say, "I'm not interested in this topic. I'm not interested in Coletta's post. I'm not interested in Reed's post. I'm not," and it's not appropriate for LinkedIn. But I think this is dangerous. I think it's going to be misused and abused. But that's where we are now. To where Brother Rob sent me a great email that said, "Hey Martin, if you don't now, you can't do that to an ad. These ads don't, like, you'll see this ad. I can't. But Rob did bring out, you can press the three buttons and then you can go to hide or
And the
report.
report. Yep.
And that's interesting. I never, I mean, I saw that before, but I never really thought about. um, and it does let you do. I've seen it add too much. It's annoying and not interested, and that's what's up. I think Rob, I want you to chime in, and but I want to set this by saying I think that now more than ever, it's super important for anyone, not just a content creator who makes money from content, but anyone that wants their voice to be heard, to have a community. You have to have developed, taking the time to build, to talk to people that are following you, to find out who they're, how they are, who their kids are, what's their next, they're leaving that job and they're going to a new job. You need to take the time to learn who your followers and who you are, who the people that are impacting you are, because these platforms are really making us siloed into a smaller circle. So the reach on LinkedIn is going to be throttled. But also, to Rob's point, if I'm an advertiser, because if I see this ad, people want to spend money on ads. So you like, I want you to see the ad 2 or 3 times. Well, I think that advertisers need to start to think about how they change out the inventory of the ad.
Yeah.
Like if I see your ad 14 times the same way, I'm definitely like, I do it all the time on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope. Yep. But go ahead, Rob.
It's really no different than having a streaming service where you can fast forward, and that's why we pay for a premium service, right? So if you operate in a premium for any of those other apps, like you think about YouTube, right? So it's like you get the premium for YouTube. I can drive 10 hours, listen to all the Stevie Wonders and not worry about any ads that pop up, right? So you got to pay to play, but we talked about this before coming on live, the importance of building community, and it really pushes for people who know how to network. That's easy, but for people that just jump on and they think the site is going to do all of the work for you, it's going to be very difficult, especially when they start seeing a dip, because they're like, well, why isn't my content being viewed? Well, that's why you have to build the relationships with people in your network. I do this survey with people that I work with, and I asked them, what's the percentage of the people that you're connected to that you actually know personally? And I'm getting 10, 20, 30%. So if you got 10,000 followers or 10,000 connections, you're saying 10% of the people you actually know, that's 1,000 people. So what are you doing with the other 9,000? And that's where we have to be very intentional about building relationships, building communities, building groups, whether online, offline. Building it on LinkedIn is very convenient because you got everybody there. But then you got people that's taking that off of LinkedIn and bringing it to their own community, whether it's a Mighty Networks or what have you. And so that's a play that has to be run by people who are serious about growing their presence on social media, because you're not in control. This is not your house. It's equivalent to Airbnb, right? This is not,
I love that.
This is Airbnb, and so we have to be mindful to understand the rules of engagement on these platforms, and at the same time continue to operate at a high level of excellence, where our content can cross barriers and get to different people. But then once you have your own network, you can then share that same content to your network, and then they may come and check you out on LinkedIn. And so it's very important that you have relationships with people, that to the point where, and I said this before we came on, that if people are used to seeing you and all of a sudden they stop seeing you, they're looking for you. Why? Because they're used to seeing you, right? I use this analogy about stars, right? I'm faithful. 12 o'clock Friday morning, I'm looking for power on the Stars app, right? And if by chance I get there and I don't see Tariq or the theme song for Power playing, I got a problem, because I'm like, listen, I'm paying for the service. I'm looking for these people. And so we have to be mindful that this is an opportunity for us to control what we see. And even as you look at what you just did, it says it allows for you to alter what you view. So I'm not sure if it affects the people on a large scale, but I guess if they got a bunch of people, that are doing this, or if the ads get reported, I think it goes to another level. But for this, it helps to control your experience, your viewership experience on LinkedIn, which is very, very important to people who just want to see what they want to see versus people introducing stuff that like, listen, I didn't ask for this. That's like being added on somebody's email distro. I didn't ask to be emailed by you. So I'm going to unsubscribe. Now, if you continue to add me, now we got a problem. Now I'm complaining. So I think that's what this is equivalent to.
I'm totally with you on that, and thanks everybody that's just tuning in. I would say though I'm concerned not so much on the commercial side. I mean, I think that there are definitely bad actors. You know, like we'll look at Yelp reviews, and you can see that this particular restaurant was targeted. Mm-hmm. But I'm more concerned about the individual, like Sister Jones, who's over at HUD, mm-hmm. and her reach being throttled because she's an innovator for the U.S. Department of Housing and Development. Right. And as she innovates, she's going to run into more people that don't like the fact that she's working for the government. She's innovating mm-hmm. in a field that disproportionately, affects people of low income, we'll say, whether that's white or black. Mm-hmm. And as people, bring their politics to LinkedIn, they may say, well, I want to follow her. And then when you follow her, you don't have to connect to her. You can follow her. Then you're going to get the bell that comes on and they're going to turn the bell on. This is the person. This is not, they're gonna, like, I have her bell turned on. So I know when she's putting out content. And then they're going to say, when they get her ad, they're going to say X. I mean, sorry, not ad. So when they get her first content sent to their feed, they're going to say X. And so I think the bad actors that are on this platform, this invites, bad actors to a whole nother level. I like the concept of doing it for ads. I don't know if I even like the concept of the X being there for individuals because I'm choosing to follow. Sister Jones. I think it's like no one with LinkedIn, especially, unlike with Facebook, to your point, or let's say even with TikTok, a platform where the platform is trying to push engagement amongst people. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn isn't really pushing engagement amongst people. They're not really forcing us to like each other and go follow each other and all that. So I feel like I'm almost tempted to create a campaign to say, take away the X for individuals, because I don't really see. Now, to your point about companies and corporations, mm-hmm. they just created the premium for your corporate company page. Mm-hmm. And I think it's $49 or $50 a month for a company page to be premium. And with premium, you get more reach, quote unquote, for your company page, which means that you may see my company page more and more in your feed, which you don't, you're like, dude, I didn't ask for this, but I asked to follow Sister Jones. So why are you giving me an X out her if I asked that's the content I want to see? And they gave us the bell. So it's like, what I mean? It sort of doesn't add up. Like,
it's like it just comes out of the blue, because you're right. If I am requesting to be a part of somebody's network, or if they, let me put it this way, if they have accepted me into their network, right? Because there's a big difference between you following somebody. You can easily unfollow if you don't want to see their content anymore. Just unfollow them. You don't have to do the content, But here's another thing. You're right. There are going to be people that, out of spite, they're going to follow you. They're going to do those things, and that's why it's so important we clean out. We can clean out the people that follow us. That's why I love Instagram. I love Instagram, man, because there's people that follow me. I'm like, who are these people? Nah, I'm not. I don't want you following me. I'm not following you. So we have to give ourselves a connection cleanse, But for some people. For some people, that's like, oh, that's too time consuming. Well, then deal with the fact that you're getting all of this love, fake love, on this platform. You either clean out your connections, or you deal with the fact that you got people that's doing what you
and I think we used to do that on Facebook a long time ago. You need to like, hey, if you're, I'm cleaning out my friends list. If you still want to follow me or still want to be a friend of mine, like this post,
Right.
I think that's a really good point. because if you notice that your LinkedIn content is not reaching as many people, then realize that you may have been reported as not appropriate for LinkedIn. I mean, who's like, and then not interested in this topic, and then not interested in this. And the other side of this is that, well, I also see reach now. I didn't know you could do this, but reach being less, because I might be fine, but then I share Sister Butterfield's content, who's sharing Sister Duckett's content, and Sister Duckett doesn't play.
Right.
Like, she comes hard.
Yeah.
So now LinkedIn is saying, well, Butterfield's content is not good and Duckett's content is not good. Right. In this one motion, you can say all three, Yeah. And that's foul. That's not cool.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, we definitely have to be intentional about curating our connections and making sure that the content that we want to see, we're able to do that. But I will say, on the flip side, though, the positive is, and this is why I love LinkedIn over many other platforms, is your ability to be found is so much easier on LinkedIn because of one person's positive action, right? So, for example, if I post something, or even just being on with you, somebody then starts to look at my stuff. Now, the people that's in their network, it just starts to pollinate faster, because one person does one thing. It could be reacting to the content, it could be commenting, because then when people start to share, for example, you wouldn't have known. Ms. Jones, she actually intentionally shared. She commented and added her sauce to Velicia's stuff, right? But if she would have just liked it, that same thing would have happened, right? Because we see posts that says, Ms. Jones' reaction to this post. So then if you're scrolling, you're gonna get, so then I'm like, okay, well, what is she like? Let me check it out. Let me show my love. And then we're going to another level of what you shared. If you want to go viral, find a post that's doing very well and add your sauce to it. And then people will discover you that way. So there's so many different ways to grow it, but we definitely have to be mindful of the negative, because if you're making your money off social media and all of a sudden your stuff starts dropping, you got to look at that stuff and say, okay, what do I need to do differently? Maybe I don't need to get off the platform. But I'll introduce this one last piece. There are people who are on LinkedIn, they have a profile, but they're not active.
Right.
So if the majority of your network is not active, don't expect for you to get a large reach. That's like living in a community. There's houses there, but people don't live there.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get no. If I say, if I scream out, "Hey yo," nobody's gonna respond. Nobody, because that's like, so we have to be, once again, we have to give ourselves a connection cleanse and find people. Now, I'm not big on making an announcement that I'm cutting. I don't look at, when I look at people like that, okay, is that for attention? Like, what we doing? I'm just gonna start on Facebook, unfriend, on LinkedIn, I'm disconnecting. And if the person valued the connection, they're gonna at least say, hey, well, what happened? I noticed that we're not connected. I said, well, it's been 7 years since we talked. I'm like, I sent you messages. I sent you birthday shout outs.
Right. For like the last 5 years.
WhatsApp is a game changer. I posted on your post. That's a game changer, especially for me, because I'm communicating constantly. But if I'm seeing 3, 4, 5 years of we ain't even responding to me, and then I go into your post and I see you haven't posted nothing ever,
right?
It's a wrap. I'm sliding out slowly, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we'll see what happens. And I'm seeing an improvement in engagement when I do that, because now the algorithm is not confused by the fact that you got 10,000 people. It's like, no, you got about 5,000 that's totally engaged. So we're gonna continue to push to those 5,000. So sometimes you have to cut. You have to, what my mentor say, you got to slow down the speed up.
It's not sometimes, bro. It's you right. You're 100% right. It's all the time.
Yeah, you got to prune.
We got to check. We got to check. We got to do that temperature check. What's like? I take oregano oil and black seed probably twice a week, even though if I'm not feeling sick. And as soon as I feel mucus, like as soon as I feel I woke up. Now I do all the things. I drink water before I go to bed. I drink water when I first get up. I don't drink coffee when I first get up. I'm washing my tongue. so I'm not swallowing anything bacteria from the night before or what have you. Inevitably, though, I'm stressed like anybody else. Inflammation. I'm a semi sugar head, not a complete. I don't eat sweets every day, but I eat sweets enough that I'm sure that I'm creating phlegm and inflammation in my throat. So as soon as I feel that there's a little bit of mucus, and it's like sometimes I'll take the black seed oil and oregano oil, even when I don't feel anything, just to be on that safe side,
That's right.
build it up, build that immune system up. Thank God, knock on wood, I didn't have COVID.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I did bring. I believe, nobody can say for sure. But I brought COVID home to my daughter 2 years ago, who was only like 6 months or whatever. She was 8 months. So traveling to Florida. But my point is that that let me do this just because.
Right.
And I love that concept where let's look at our connections and let's look at, for someone like me and you who have thousands of connections, it's harder. If somebody says, oh, how can you go through and check? Well, I'm definitely looking at the last few connections.
Oh yeah.
And seeing, did I see this person? Did we ever have a conversation? And it's like, you can go like this. This might be something I got to figure out because most of my connections have pictures.
They got a picture, man. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the first thing. So I love the concept of doing a connection cleanse. That's another CC.
CC, man, I'm coming with the C's.
Yeah. Well, I got 5 C's to content, success, commitment, character, community, consistency, and of course the type of content you create. So the C's thing for me, you don't know this, but the C's thing for me really resonated because it's like I got the C's already for my rules to content success. So but that content cleanse, that's a really good idea. I think I'm gonna implement that.
Go ahead and borrow that, man. But you're gonna love my 5 C's to currency, bro. So I got the 5 C's to currency. Let's go. When I drop.
Oh, well, you got okay.
When I drop book number 3, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna come with the 5 C's to currency, bro. But this is critical, and even so. First of all, I agreed to jump on for 2 reasons. One, you're a credible figure in my network. Right. So I value opportunities to be able to collaborate once again with people that we're on a similar wavelength. But then number 2, it's this whole collaboration creates currency movement. So another triple C, right? So understanding that we have to, if we're not seeing the love that we think we should get, that's when we need to leverage OPP, right? And then you and I, we come from a similar age range. So we know what OPP stood for. But what OPP stands for now is other people's platforms. Like we have to leverage. This is what leverage is all about, right? So you can't stand on an island all by yourself thinking you're going to become a superpower. You become a superpower when people start seeing you with superpowers, and they're like, hold up, bro, I'm not going to mess with him because he's already connected, or I'm going to mess with him because these connected. So we have to be mindful. And these are strategies. And this is where the people that are uninitiated to LinkedIn, and they think that LinkedIn is just for getting a job. This is where we have to educate people and let them know, listen, yes, LinkedIn started out as an employee-centric platform to help people get connected to recruiters. And it still does that. But the mindset that we all have to adopt as influencers, as entrepreneurs, whatever it is that we want to call ourselves, is a public relations mindset, right? We have to leverage LinkedIn as a PR tool because that's what we're striving to do. We're striving to influence the publics and get them to do something that we need them to do for us. And so a major strategy for that is getting on other people's platforms. And don't just get on anybody's platform. When you get on people's platforms, show up and show out. Because you only get a short period of time to make a positive impression. That just there's going to be people that's going to see me on this platform, and I shout out to you for showing me love by telling people to follow. Listen, I could be a dud, and they looking at you crazy now, like, yo, who are you bringing on your platform? So not only do we want to have strong platforms to invite strong people on, but we also have to be strong and carry our own weight so that we can then attract people that's like, listen, I really like this dude. He's not saying what everybody else is saying. He's got his own flavor. So, I just want you to know how much I appreciate and value you for the opportunity to just share, a couple pieces of nuggets that can impact somebody's direction on this platform, because it's a phenomenal platform, man. I'm biased, man. I'm biased, but at the same time, man, this is Airbnb, bro. This ain't, if you don't own it, it ain't yours.
Right, you're leasing the space. One final thought about what you were saying. I'm actually traversing a situation right now where I'm deciding, to your point, someone asked me to share something with my network, and I don't. I definitely try to be eclectic because my personality is eclectic. I don't like to be boxed into shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that being said, I do have a standard, and the standard is really simple, concise information that empowers.
Mm-hmm.
It don't have to be fancy. You don't have to have a deck, and you don't have to have this brand kit with these different colors. You don't have to have. You just have your information. Just needs to be easily accessible and valuable to to people, individuals. So someone shared something with me and said, hey, can you share this with your network? And bro, I'm trying to it's not simple. It's not concise. It's just all over the place. And I'm like, trying to figure out how to have this conversation with a person that's like, because they've already, other people that they've reached out to have already shared it. And I can't do it because it's not my net. It's not up to the standard for my network.
Yeah.
I don't give people 14 different directions to go in, go in this direction.
Right.
And go there. And I also try to set your expectations.
Yeah.
When you go there, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
Click on this, do that, and then you'll get what I just said you're going to want, and that's that. And they're like, "Oh, thanks, Martin, it's so good." And then they come back, they trust. And so, like when I recommend a Rob, they're like, "Yeah, I got you," because I know Martin has a standard, and it's going to be simple and it's concise, and they know what to expect.
Yeah,
I think that's not highly valued anymore.
It's not, because I'm gonna tell you why. And I start smiling real big when you said that, because, and shout out to Eric Thomas, man. So Eric Thomas has been one of my mentors for years, and he helped me realize that I was a people pleaser. And because of being a people pleaser, it was tough for me to tell people no, right? Because I felt like, I wanted people to like me, I wanted people to love me, I wanted to, what I'm saying? It's like all these things that I was dealing with. All these things that I was dealing with, I couldn't tell people no. But because of E and the coaching I received, I learned to tell people no. Matter of fact, I don't tell people no more when people ask me to share stuff. I say, I appreciate that. What's the email to send the invoice?
Right.
Because this is what I do. Like, I'm in the PR space, I'm in the advertising space, right? And so at the end of the day, what you're asking me to do is what my clients pay me to do for them. You're looking for exposure. You're looking for visibility. You see, I got a crew. You want me to take your stuff and give it to my crew, and then those crew go to your crew. We know what it looks like. So I'd love to do that for you. But what's the email address to send the invoice? And so they're like, well, what's your main invoice? Why can't you just share it? I'm like, first of all, we don't really got a relationship like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even talk. But you now come out the blue and you're like, can you share?
Right.
And then it's the people that they commit this offense all the time. And the reason why is because we don't. They keep like, if you do it the first time, they're gonna keep sending you stuff in your inbox like, yo, can you share this? Can you share? I think you'll like this. Can you share this? Nah, bro, you don't got no juice. So you want to come to my side? I got juice. No disrespect. I mean, I'm just. But but the way we stop it is we say, no. And so I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that's what you should do, Martin. I'm just saying, for me, I smile real big because that's when I'm like, oh man, I must have hit it big, because people coming to me saying, can you share my stuff? I'm like, at first I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I really don't want to do it.
Usually, I would say on LinkedIn. Right. No, I don't even play that on LinkedIn. No, fortunately, LinkedIn is not that. Usually it's an Instagram post or something. But and that's why I think, to your point, I keep a low profile on a lot of social. I have a good business partner now, And so he's been pushing me to do more on other platforms where I'm not at 10,000 or more. And so I've been doing that. But I hesitate to go past 5,000 on a lot of platforms because once you start to get those numbers, to your point, what happened? People start reaching out. But on this platform, so far, knock on wood somewhere because I know wood here in this room. But I really do lived a blessed life. I haven't been reached out that way unless it was a high quality or high value asset or high value share where there's definitely some value, back and forth. And shout out to ET because to your point about Eric or Brother Thomas, I think I started following him initially from the Thank God It's Monday post that he was doing back in 2010. And then when he was in that classroom teaching, and that video went up, and then the guy who was trying to be a football player.
Yeah.
So I go back in the craze for ET, and then fortunately I ran into Nikki Saunders, and I became part of Nikki's community. So we share, some similarities that we didn't know. And then I'm running Ash Cash's community, the abundance community for Ash. So we share that in common. What I was gonna say though is that it's like I think the toughest thing for me is to I always want to give everybody a chance. You know what I mean? I want to give you a chance. And so when the chance is given and then it comes up with not immediate, like this person didn't do this immediately. They waited maybe 3 weeks. So I joined their community. They sent out, this is what was a really interesting. I'm glad you're having this conversation because I hadn't unpacked what I had a problem with, but I think I'm now understanding a little bit more. They shared a message on LinkedIn in the DMs, and they shared it with 40 people. And then those 40 people became people in the group, let's say. And so I was like, you know what? I'm cool. I know a lot of people here, so it's cool. And I never attended one of their workshops before or anything, but I did get invited. You can invite up to 500 people on LinkedIn to a workshop or an event, a LinkedIn event. So I never said no to the event because I don't like saying no unless I'm just, that's whack. I'm not take me off the list. But all of that assumed that I was okay with everything. So, and to your point about people pleasing, I let that process play out. Now there's a conversation being had that says, hey, can you invite your network, just like you said, your people to this event that I'm doing? And this whole morning I've been trying to figure out how to say no because of what I feel about the actual content. But to your point, I'm actually now revisiting that and thinking of like, it was really presumptuous, but what part did I play in the presuming? Because as invitation was given, I could have said no. As this was given, I could have said no. Now I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I should have. It's my bad. So I'm just gonna bow out.
But then check this out though. It goes another level. And I don't mean to open up this door, but I'm gonna open it up on your platform. The people you think you're talking to on LinkedIn, you ain't really talking to them. Somebody else is rocking their stuff. You feel me? And so you might think that the person. What happens is if I did that to you and I had somebody else managing, you're gonna get mad at YB because you're like, yo, why, man, YB ain't talked to me in years. So how? But my people don't know that they just following the assignment.
Right.
And they just getting it out. Why? Because they like
the only problem, this person sent me a personal video.
Got you. I got you. We'll take that offline.
It was discombobulated. Like
we'll take that offline. But to the highest level for people that's watching, because I'm telling you, the majority of people in this country, they're people pleasers, bro.
Managing. Like like you said, they have a manager. They have a social media person.
They got somebody managing
or a VA.
Or VA. And so at the end of the day, they're detached from the emotional ask.
I feel like we need to have another session on this because I think like I'm curious to find out for our next episode to ask you about that, because I tend to find even at the highest, like here, Sister Duckett. I think I'm following Sister Duckett. I think she's following me back. Or no, let's see. Let me see. Yeah, we're
y'all connected.
Yeah, I think. Okay, cool, right. So but what happens is, to your point, I know that she has a VA. I know that her caliber, what she's doing with all that stuff, she has a VA. That said, those type of people typically they do at some point we talk.
Yeah.
But to your point, in other words, the high net worth individual or high net worth asset, we'll say, I talk to them, they talk to me, then we disconnect. And then the VA or somebody else takes over. And so when I get a message, to your point, on I don't know, on Juneteenth next year, it may not be Sister Duckett, it may be her VA say, hey, Mark, what do you. But what I found is a high net worth person as well. When I ask you, their VAs will say, I'm a VA.
They'll let you know, right? They'll let you know,
Now,
or they'll say a part of such and such team, because
correct.
Yeah, I'm a such and such team. You know what I'm saying? And so that way, you know, you're not talking, because I'm like that, bro. I'm like, listen, I've scheduled appointments with people that I thought was high level, because I'm the chief connecting officer in my firm. Like I'm the top person in my firm.
Right.
I want to talk to the top person of your firm.
Right.
A lot of people are like, well, what makes you think you can do that? Well, because I'm the chief person in my firm. Like I want to talk to the chief person in your firm. And then the people that get on is the scheduler or the salesperson.
Correct.
I'm like, but where's the person that I was communicating with? Oh, well, they put it in my hands. You know what? I appreciate that, but I thought I was having a conversation with a person, not with the team. I don't want to be pushed off. And because it's about relationships, man. We're all in business to do business, but at the same time, business flows through relationships, man. And people don't want, because what's the difference between that and being catfished?
Yeah, let's talk about that next time. Let's talk about that.
We definitely
I like that.
We got more to talk about, bro. Yeah, we got more to talk about. But listen, once again, I appreciate you, brother. We got a lot of things to unpack, and I'm looking forward to the next time that we speak.
Yeah, and so let everybody know where they can go to your website or what have you to buy. I didn't know you had books out, so I would definitely.
YBConnects.com is the main hub for me. You can go to YBConnects.com, where we focus on providing people with access to referrals, resources, and revenue generating training. You can also go to collaborationcreatescurrency.com. That's the where you can get my book, Collaboration Creates Currency, which features 5 dynamic, including myself. 4 other dynamic co-authors. One you may know, Martin. Does the name Marshall Fox ring a bell?
It slightly. I know.
So Marshall, when you brought up Nikki, so Nikki, myself, Marshall, we all were raised in Breathe University.
Okay, right? Gotcha.
And so a lot of people that was, a lot of things that's birth came out of that. Out of that community, and that's where I met Marshall. Marshall was a struggling insurance salesman where we met. But as a result of Breathe University and one connection, this dude landed 40 new clients in 90 days. He's a web designer, and now he's working with 7-8 figure speakers and podcasters. So he's killing the game. So it's a lot to share, but this is really for people who are not where they want to be as an entrepreneur, and they have to recognize that collaboration is what's going to get them to the next level. You still got to be dope at what you do, but collaboration creates currency. And when people think of currency, first thing they think about is money. And it's not money only. Money is a part of it, but it's ideas, it's strength, it's trust. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really have true currency
and content,
and all that stuff.
That book is an example. Like you're reading a book that is collaboration that creates currency.
Yeah. And it's a stair-step approach, right? Some people may not be ready for your top tier service. So I'm telling everybody, and I'm a rapper, especially if you're a father or a fraternity man, as I am, you need a book.
Yeah,
you need a book, and the reason why you need a book is because it's a tangible resource, and and not to be morbid, but it's going to outlive you.
Right. It's a legacy play.
It's a
It's an
legacy play,
asset.
man.
Right,
It's
like a house.
it's a
Like a
definite
house.
asset. That's exactly.
Like a
And people
content.
may not be ready. I thank God I don't promote myself as a writer, because I would be so tight. I would reach out to people who bought the book and I say, hey, how'd you like the book? I ain't read it yet. I just bought it to support you. I'll be tight, man. I'll be so hurt. Because I'm like, I didn't write it for you to just buy it. I need you to bond with my words.
Well,
No,
you know
man.
what?
So
You know what? That brings up a good point, because I think
Yeah.
that this is something that we can collaborate on. I got my I think I got my I don't know what to call her. I just call her my angel, I guess. Dr. Tina Ramsey has given me a great opportunity to take her her network and make what I do a part of her network, which is the CTR Media Network, and she's on Roku, but she has 35,000 Black parents in her network, and so her videos, her podcasting, all that stuff is getting really good throughput, and so I wanted to shout out when you said the book, and I was like, oh, you know what? I need to shout out my aunt. Where is it? Dang it! I went to the wrong thing. My aunt she just celebrated 24 years in the business as a bookstore. So
nice.
aunt's bookstore in Harlem.
Oh, listen, you're gonna make me come home. You're gonna make me come home just to come check her out.
Yeah. Sisters Uptown. So, in 24 years, we got 4.8 stars. We got 237 Google reviews. But my point to you is, and what you said, I think is really important, is that in having the resource, Aunt's going to retire soon. Shout out to CNBC that they did a story on her. And that's, very unique for a Black bookstore to be on CNBC. But awesome. All those accolades, to your point, inside the store, when you look inside to what you're saying, when you look inside the store, you see all these books.
Yeah.
This is people. And to your point about, what you said, I'll be really upset if I create a book and it's in the bookstore and you never go pull off the top. But here's the thing. I've been doing this since MySpace days, right? Really before MySpace, as far as marketing books. And I ran the bookstore for 2 years back in 04, 05. And what happens, I will say this, and I would love to, that's what I'm going to say. You maybe think about what we could do together.
Yeah.
Is the collaboration creates currency, whatever you want to call it, audio series or podcast or whatever. I like audio series because it has a little bit more mystique to it. And I find that sponsors, it's like like a television show. It's a limited, series, so it's exclusive. But that conversation, almost like Think and Grow Rich. So when I unpack Think and Grow Rich for people, I do it chapter by chapter.
Right.
I don't just talk about the entire book, because a lot of people haven't, it's almost like, I guess, 70 years old or whatever. So a lot of people haven't read it. They've heard it. They've heard other people talk about it, but they haven't actually consumed it themselves. So to me, I hear what you're saying about, you wrote a book, you'd be mad if the person didn't get a chance to look at it. But like I said, in this bookstore that we have, there's thousands of books that we have on the shelf. And although we bring people into the store and the author does a book signing or an event at the store, those people still may never pick up a book that's in the bookstore.
That's right.
So what we have to do, I think, as authors, we have to take a chapter by chapter and have a book discussion. So that's what I think we can do. And I think we can pull in people who collaborate with other people as guests. So your book can be the framework.
The framework, yeah.
And then we pull in guests like a Marshall or like a Nikki. I don't know if Nikki would come on, but like, she probably would. But like, and then just other people that we know that collaborate. And that, I think that's the key word for 2025. I think 2024, we're building the collaboration spirit, but I think 2025 is when you activate that spirit, push the button, and it's like collaboration across the, just.
But if you look at us as a people, Martin, though, we've always been on that.
Yes.
We don't have like my guy, Dr. George Fraser, man. He says some people are just rugged individuals. We not like that. We've always been communal. You feel what
Right.
I'm saying? And so we have to, but we have to reintroduce that word. But
Yeah,
then not
that's
just
the key. That's the
reintroduce it.
key.
We
That's
have
the
to
key.
show it. Like people have,
Right.
like there's some people that's like, well, why don't we see people collaborating, bro? You in the wrong circle if you don't see that. Because I'm seeing it all the time. Circles that I'm in, that's a part of our upbringing. That's our philosophy.
Yeah.
That's our mindset. That's how we
Yeah.
operate. Like we look out for each other. So if a person says they don't see that, it's either A, because they don't want to see it, or
Or
B,
B, they're in the wrong
they
circle.
don't, they're in the wrong circle, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like if
I
you're the
understand
smartest
what
dude in your crew, you need to get you a new crew. They're like, you know, you gotta, you know, so that's what that really is about, man. But
and
listen,
or you in a crew of
I'm
non-collaborators.
gonna check her out. I will say this: there's a black-owned bookstore in Petersburg, Virginia. The very first that I got my book in is called Resist Booksellers. It's in Petersburg, Virginia. The brother who owns it, he and I went to school together. He's from New York as well, and the moment he launched, matter of fact, he had a spot, but it wasn't an official spot. He just had a little nook.
Yeah.
And he went. I approached him. I said, "Hey, you know, what's your process for? What's your process
Is it right
for?
here? Resist
That's it, right there. The
booksellers.
first one right there. Resist booksellers. Yep. What's your
So,
process?" And we talked. I did not rely
it's
on the
beautiful,
fact
man.
that we knew each other.
This is gorgeous.
Oh, it's a
This is
phenomenal
gorgeous.
spot, man. It's a staple in Petersburg, man. They just celebrated their 1-year anniversary. They're all about community. They got stuff for the babies. They host events. Matter of fact, right now, well, not now, 4:00 tonight, the sister who put together the 1619 project, they brought her to Petersburg.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And so, but the reason why I'm saying that is this is for the authors, right? Don't expect just because you got a book that a bookstore is just going to take your stuff in. You got to be team oriented. And so what I did was I didn't just say, hey, put my book on the shelf. I'm like, what can I do to help you win? So now I promote the bookstore, and by default, my books are going to sell. So last year, when, you know, because we set this up like early 2023, last year, my book was the #1 selling book out of that bookstore. You feel what I'm saying? But it was because I'm promoting the bookstore first. You feel what I'm saying? That's collaboration creates currency.
That's also the first rule of social media. So I started in social media in '97 with Black Planet, and at the core, Black Voices was before Black Planet.
Yep.
Having a website, Black Planet had something nobody had at the time, which was DMs.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we're charging. We actually made money monetized. If you wanted to see, you know, the booty call list close to you, then you paid, I think it was like $1.25 or something like that per month. But my point is, like, the concept from social media from day one has been give first. Yes. And but it hasn't been like, it's like an untold rule to social, which is, and to your point earlier, you said currency, and currency also is social currency.
Yes.
And I think like what we're doing right here by having this conversation about your books, the bookstore your book is in, my aunt's bookstore, we're expanding social currency talking about these bookstores.
Yes.
Because these bookstores are they're legacies in our communities. 24 years. This one just made a year. And this is the stuff that people don't know about. And so we're spending time. We're at 48 minutes on online on a Sunday, expending our social capital between the two of us to highlight other people that we care about. And that's something that's a collaboration, creates currency. Hopefully, I had no idea they existed. So my business partner, he's in Alexandria. So I'm gonna be like,
that's right up the street. That's right up the street.
Go out. I might even see if he can come over and take a picture or two, because he's a paparazzi. He works for TMZ. So he's a Washington bureau chief, DC bureau chief for TMZ.
Nice.
Or former was, but he's now contracted. Anyway, my point is, you know, he's got Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's got, you know, what's her name? Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris. So he's got all these different figures in his Rolodex and inventory of content that he sells, you know, to outlets and stuff like that. So I'm sure he'd be interested in getting, or he might not, you know, it's a Sunday. But my point is that that's the kind of collaboration that we're talking about, where you let me know about this, I didn't know existed. You let me know about it today. I call my boy up, like, yo, You might want to head down the street, get some quick shots, make quick money, promoting the bookstore, but also the fact that 1619 sister is there, and this was what she said, and then he monetizes on his YouTube channel.
On his, yeah.
And so it's like, you know what I mean? That collaboration is just that's how that. But I would have never known. About this book,
but that's because we gotta have an abundance. We gotta have an abundance mentality, bro. Like I don't lose anything by promoting resist. I don't lose anything by promoting. You don't lose anything by promoting me. As long as I know how to see, we can't be ball hogs. If I came on here and only talked about me, that's a whack show. I gotta be willing to like give and take. How do I give you this? How to make it win? Yeah. So, but you're right. That's something that's taught. I didn't naturally know this. Shout out to Dr. Pam Perry. She's one of my coaches.
That's my cousin.
30 years in the that's your cousin? Let me tell you something. I call her my Michigan mom. That's my Michigan mom. You see the billboard in the back? That's Dr. Pam Perry, bro.
I saw the speaking back. I was like, I know.
But I say all that because she had to help me come out the closet with that because I didn't really know. I'm like, I can't call myself a public relations because I didn't go to school for that. She said everything you've been doing with LinkedIn is public relations.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And so I may not be the one that's dealing with the top tier people. I want to start working with the folks that's just getting started. If you got at least 2 years under your belt and you got, you're a speaker and an author, let's get busy. Why? Because there's certain things you don't know. Did you know that most authors that are self-published, they only sell 250 copies of their book in the lifetime of their book? I'm talking about in a lifetime. That's 20 years. So that means you only selling 20 books or 25 books a year. Like, dude, we got to do better. We got to do better. So the way that we do better is we got to focus on, I'm gonna give you my 5 C's right now, right? We got to focus on clarity. We got to focus on confidence. That's gonna help you with your communication skills, which then leads you to connections, collaboration opportunities, and then currency. So when you have the mindset and you understand, okay, what's the next step? You'll attract a Pam Perry. I didn't know who Pam Perry was, but because I connected with Marshall, who connected me with Brian Olds, who then connected me with Pam Perry, it's like you got to be willing to give and sow into people. My guy is Dr. George Frazier. Dr. George Frazier been teaching that in our community, but for whatever reason, either we don't know what my man said in not New Jack City, but Boys in the Hood. We either don't know, don't show, or don't care. You feel me?
No doubt. This is one of our sisters, Sister Carolyn. Rise and reclaim your gut. 250. She's
in the lifetime. We talk about in the lifetime. So 20 years. That means people scared to promote, or they don't have a network, or their book is trash. We're gonna take that third one out. They scared to promote, or they don't have a network.
I think also, in all honesty too, is that something I realized, in the group that I'm in, Black Executive Men, I did a conversation this past Thursday about how to use content to create currency. And you don't have to get, to go after a venture capitalist, we'll say, or a angel investor. You can use your content. Like one of the companies that was a client of mine, Black Sands Entertainment, in 2018, they did a Kickstarter for their comic book, and it was like 60,000 they raised. They were looking to raise 50. They raised over that. But eventually they did another Kickstarter, and then they went on their merry way, so to speak. And then they got on Shark Tank about 4 years later, and they were able to get investment from Kevin Hart and Mark Cuban. And then they said, you know what, that's good. We appreciate that. But we have people that rolled with us from day one, and there's no seat at the table for them. We're getting ready to do this Hollywood thing. So is it all right if we meet y'all halfway? And then we'll bring the people that support us from day one. And they were like, of course, Mark Cuban and Kevin Hart, you ain't got to spend no money. Like, do what you got to do. So they went to WeFunder and raised $2.3 million on WeFunder from the network, from the audience, from the collaboration, from the people that, and the whole concept was, yo, we about to blow up. We want to take y'all with us. Y'all need to be investors, whether it's $5, $250, $500, whatever it is, just invest. But my point in saying that content can create currency and that collaboration spirit. When you look at content creators, which are authors, typically there's not anybody saying, here's a roadmap to the currency. It's just people saying, yo, put your book out, go ahead and go to the bookstore, do book signings, and then we'll have authors come to the bookstore and they haven't done an email blast. We're like,
nope.
They're like,
they're not bringing nothing to the bookstore, and that's the point that's the point that people need to understand. You can't just have your stuff, because what's happening is the book is taking up valuable real estate, man. It's like, I could put somebody else's book where your book is. You're not doing nothing with it, but what can you do for the bookstore? Right.
And the thing is, look at this. It's 23 reviews here, and if you go to Google, we got 283 reviews. We've been around 24 years. That's not a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's not 5,000 people. We're 800 square foot store. How many people do you think are going to come? Because we have done 283, we got 237. So how many people do you think are going to come? You got to get out there.
You got to get out there.
My point to you, that's the whole. We went. We
can start a whole another hour conversation, bro. But this just lets people know that when people get together, they have like minds, like spirit. But we could go on for hours, man. And so what I want to leave, this is my last point. I want to leave for those who's watching, listening. Find your tribe, right, add value to the tribe. And at the same time, build your brand. Don't rely on these platforms to think that they're going to build it for you. You got to build. Now, how do you do that? You got to know the value that you bring to the marketplace. You know what I'm saying? And so when you understand that, and then what happens is somebody's going to catch that and they're going to elevate you. They're going to promote you. But there's a word that's so valuable in what you did today. It's called edification. We got to be in a position to edify each other in a way that we shine the light on each other, so that way we don't worry about who's taking the credit. We all winning. You know what I'm saying? We all winning.
Spend that currency. Spend that social currency.
Spend it. No. Invest it. That's the difference, because if you spend it, it ain't coming back. If you invest it, it's coming back.
That's a good, you know what? That's a really good debate that we should have. I'm starting to creating thumbnails. And so I got to get you to pose be like this.
I'll be like,
and I'll be like, and you're gonna put down, and you just with Canva in 2 minutes, bro.
Yeah. You can make
that picture, send it to me. I take the background out. Put it over the Canva. Canva's here's the thumbnail. I put out, and it's like that. To your point, does social currency get spent or invested?
Right.
Dr. Pratt versus the YB.
YB. That's right.
It's like the debate of this week.
I'm all for it, brother. I appreciate you, and I'm wishing you all of the best as you continue to impact our people. Let's continue to vibe and impact lives together, man. I'm on a mission. 100,000 lives impacted this year through the collaboration creates currency movement. I don't know how it's gonna get done. I'm just operating in what the gift that God has given me.
Bro, I
came into 2024
saying 100,000 already. It's done. It's real. When I show you how it's done, you're gonna be like, oh snap.
Let's get it.
But shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Shout out to everybody watching on LinkedIn. Thanks for watching. And y'all have a blessed Sunday. And we'll let you know when we're coming back. But this has been a really good. I appreciate you letting us know about LinkedIn, as far as we can turn off the ads on LinkedIn. Just to recap for anybody just tuned in, we were mainly talking about LinkedIn and the ability that we now have to X out content that you may deem you don't want to see. But what that does for content creators, it to me really throttles the content creator space, because not only are you Xing out the content, but they say, do you think this content is appropriate for LinkedIn? And that's a personal opinion. In my opinion, my personal opinion about that is that's a personal opinion. And so we have to be very careful with, as Brother YB brought out, who we allow to follow us now. We have to really think that through, because you may have some haters and some people that are just, I call them bad actors, following you, who will X you out and report you to LinkedIn on some BS, that's not, you're just being you. You're not doing anything, negative or positive. You're just being you. And instead, you get X'd out, like right here. Karen found this insightful. I click on the X. It's saying get rid of internals posts and not interested. The post removed. So for me, the X is dangerous. And then the YB brought out this really good point. For ads, you can go to 3 buttons and say hide this ad, which I completely forgot about. And so that's a good thing because the ads are the things that don't have the X on it. They do have the 3 buttons though. So, all right, y'all, have a blessed Sunday. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully, and stay blessed. Peace and love.